code of ethics.
The dirty glass code of ethics?
Yes, ma'am.
For heaven's sake, every kid in the universe would be guilty then.
Well, but not in a business in our town. We do not allow that. Now, I thought you would have known better.
Well, I haven't had time to read all the violations in the code about handyman's gone. He's in jail. Well, not really in jail. He's just serving some community time. He's addicted to chocolate, you understand? And I can't do it all myself. I can't pick up on this responsibility.
Just a moment.
What?
Please, that is a double violation of the sanctity of Bob. Oh my goodness.
Now what?
You have got a mushroom growing over here on the front porch.
Well, really?
Yes. That is a violation of the weed control substance. -227.
Where did that come from?
25.
Now listen, I knew about some of that other, well, not really, I didn't know about it, it just kind of piled up, but that mushroom thing there growing next to the door, yeah, that's nasty.
What I thought.
Ew, I don't want mushrooms growing in the yard, that is disgusting.
Oh my goodness.
What now? Surely
You have violated about every code in the book, man.
Well, couldn't you just give me a little time? I'm working on hiring somebody to take care of all this, and I've got 3 interviews with wonderful potential candidates this afternoon.
All I know, Miss Kit, is I am only the inspector. You better be glad that Barney's not here, or he would let you have it.
Yes, well, oh goodness, that would be bad if I went.
Okay, just a moment.
Who would be responsible for this place? So what are you going to do with that report there, Inspector Bob?
That's $25. That makes 50, 75, 100. Oh, that's a double violation, so that's 200.
What?
Ma'am, I will write you up.
Money?
You'll see here, just a moment, I've got to sign this, Inspector Bob.
B.O.B.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay. Ma'am, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you have 2 days
what?
to get this place up to code, or Mr. Barney will have to come down, and I'm afraid we may have to shut you down.
Oh, but you can't do that. I have guests expected.
Ma'am, it's not me. It's not me. You have got to be responsible for taking care of these code issues. And if not, Bob will have to come down. Barney, he'll have to come down and just lock the doors.
Oh, that would be awful. Where is he, by the way?
Well, I understand he was down there chasing some bears that got down into Miss Smith's place and got after her grandchildren.
Well, that ought to keep him occupied for a while.
They were on their way to church. Yep.
Where?
That bear will make sure they got to church, I suppose.
This is ridiculous.
Well, Miss Kid, I'm sorry.
$225?
I'm very sorry, but you need to take care of these violations, or I'm sorry. There's just no other way around it.
Thank you for stopping by.
You're quite welcome. Well, it's good to see you.
Yeah, that's right. This is awful. This is just awful. I don't have this extra money. No. Terrible. Where's that goofy sister of mine when I need her running off decorating a cake? Oh, Thelma! Oh, I'm doing okay. I just have a little trouble here because, well, I have got to find a replacement for Manuel, and well, I have 3 interviews, but I'm trying to figure out how to best question the potential job candidates. Yes, how do you think this sounds? Welcome to the Kit Kat Inn. Please come in so that I can ask you about your capability. No, that doesn't sound right.
Dear, I'd love to stay and listen, but I have a responsibility to take care of.
Well, but what about this responsibility and making sure that we get somebody who can take care of this place before I have to pay $1 gajillion million in code violations?
Well, dear, I already took care of my part of my responsibility.
What do you mean?
I wrote the ad. That's all you asked me to do.
Well,
you didn't ask me about anything else. And right now I have to go to Doc's. Doc was called out of town. I've got to go take care of his place.
Are you serious?
I am very serious.
Now wait just a minute,
and I take my responsibility very seriously.
Well, apparently you don't take your responsibility seriously, or else you would help me. All you did was write that silly little ad
You know what? I don't own this inn. She does. She can interview. I'm going to take care of Doc's place.
Well, that wasn't very nice. Let's see, he gave me a list.
Oops.
And I brought a few things. Really and truly, we could use some of this. Let's see, where's it? Let's see, what else? Oh, yes. Toothpicks. Let's see, what's on the list? Oh, goodness.
Oh, well, I better get ready to work. Let's see, put that there. That there. There. Keep my hair out of the food. Oh, goodness. Well, Kit does have a large responsibility trying to find a temporary replacement for Manny, but I really didn't promise to help with that. I did, however, promise Doc, and he's taught me so much about responsibility. You know, he and I talked about Joseph being responsible because when he was there in Egypt, he responded to what God showed him in a dream, and he took responsibility to save all the people in Egypt, and his father, and his brothers. And then Moses took responsibility for leading the people out of Egypt. And they headed out through the desert to the promised land that God promised them. Well, you know from what Doc told me last week that the people got very restless when Moses went to talk to God. And they made themselves an idol to worship. And of course, that idol couldn't see, couldn't hear, couldn't talk, couldn't do anything for them. But God could see, hear, and he was talking to Moses. Well, after Moses came down from the mountain, the rest of the Israelites came to Moses and told him, says, you know what? God's promised us the land that we can have and we can live in and we can be prosperous. But we don't know anything about this land. We think that you need to send some folks out to scout and to spy and to find out just what kind of country this is that God is promising us. Moses decides this is a good idea. So he selects 12 men, one from each of the 12 tribes of Israel. Among those 12 men were Caleb and Joshua. Now, Caleb and Joshua, when they went into the land, they saw wonderful things. They picked grapes that were big as ping pong balls. They were huge, and they were sweet and good. And they found figs and dates and all kinds of wonderful things to eat. So when they came back and reported, they told them, the elders and Moses, that the land was beautiful and fair, and God promised it to them, and they should go right away and take the land God promised. But the other 10 said, no, they've got giants in that land, and we're afraid. If we try to go in there, they'll kill us. So we're not going. So they didn't go right then. And that made God very angry. As a result of that, every one of the adults were to wander there in the desert until they died. And they weren't going into the promised land. The only 2 that were living at that time that were going were Caleb and Joshua, because they said what was true and what was right, what God showed them. And God said that he would give that land to them. When he promised that, he wasn't going to let them be defeated, and he wasn't going to let the giants get them. He was going to take care of everything for them. If we trust God, he will take care of things for us. He will do